with us, sis. Come and deal with us. Because for far too long, we wonder what, we want change, but we don't know how to change. You want change, but you don't know how to change. Come here and sis, deal with me give me 5 minutes of your time, sis. See what we out here doing, sis? We out here teaching our people who we are according to the Bible, right? So, sis, what's your name?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn? All right, Jocelyn, let me ask you something, right? If I asked you what your nationality is according to the Bible, could you tell me what your nationality is according to the Bible?
Absolutely not.
Why? Why wouldn't you be able to? Jeremiah 17:4.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so we're gonna get it. We're gonna understand. We're gonna get some understanding as to why we call ourselves African Americans, Black, Ecuadorian, what's that? Jamaican, right? We're gonna get some understanding why we call ourselves these names. If I may ask, right? You look like you're about my age, right? I was born in '86, right? You know the term African American was coined in 1985, just a year before I was born. I'm going on 40, right?
I ain't that old.
Okay, so
you're not old either, but
yeah, I get it. But look, so the term African American came about before I was born, like a year before I was born. So it's not that old, right? So what were we called prior to that? Afro American, Negro, colored. Why do those proverbs and bywords are attached to us? Because you never asked the white man why his nationality never changes.
Right.
He's German all the time, right? He's what's another one? He Polish all the time, right? He the so-called Jewish all the time, right? So let's get there. Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4.
So your question, well, my question to you was, why don't we understand who we are, right? Okay, we about to read it out the Bible, why you don't know and why we didn't at a point in time. But now we've come back into our remembrance of who we are according to the Bible. Read that.
Jeremiah 17 and verse 4.
Come on.
And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
What's a heritage? What you say your name was again?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn. What's a heritage? What is a heritage? Okay, so like the culture you brought up in, right? Okay, so look, check this out, right? Because you on point, right? So it says, and thou, even thyself, so Jocelyn, even you shall discontinue from your heritage. Read.
That I gave thee.
So the Lord gave you your heritage, but the Bible said that you would discontinue from it, right? Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Because we weren't native to this land at one point in time. Now, some of our brothers and sisters were. Well, I'm not negating that. But if I called you an African American, would that be right? As far as like what we get called in society today, would that be accurate to say that you're an African American? Okay, so therefore you come from the tribe of Judah.
That's right.
Judah was taken from the west coast of Africa and brought here. You understand? Read now stay with me. Read that again. Read the whole thing again.
And thou, even thyself.
So Jocelyn, is that right? Even yourself shall discontinue from your heritage. Read that.
That I gave thee.
Come on.
And I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
So when we got off the shore, when we got off those slave ships, we were unfamiliar to this land, and we were doing what? Serving. Our who? What the Bible call them?
Thine enemies.
The Bible says that we would serve our enemies in a land that we knew not, right? So let's read that again. Read it one more time from the top.
And thou, even thyself.
So Jocelyn, even you, even yourself, read.
Shall discontinue.
What's discontinue mean? When you go to the store and they say they got a discontinued item on the shelf, what's it for? Like it's for a reduced price, right? So what does that mean for that item? Okay, so like, let's say for example, your Crocs, right? Let's say if they stop making Crocs, they discontinue Crocs. What are they doing with the Crocs then? They getting rid of them. They're gonna stop making them. So the Bible says, read that again.
And thou,
and you, Jocelyn, read.
Even thyself.
Surely you, Jocelyn, read.
Shall discontinue.
Shall stop, read.
from thine heritage.
You shall stop from your heritage. Like you said, it goes into our tribes, how we conduct ourselves for one another, towards one another. It's how we dress. It's how we conduct ourselves out here in the world with the other nations, how we're supposed to be civil, what high holy days we're supposed to be getting. Right. Dress code, it goes into all of that. So it says, and thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from your heritage, which the Lord gave us. Read.
And I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger.
You got children. So when your children make you mad, right, and they disobey you, do you get frustrated about that? Right. So the same. Go ahead. So there's different levels to it, right? So let's read that again.
For ye have kindled a fire in my anger.
So the Lord is telling Jeremiah that the nation of Israel has kindled a fire in his anger. Like you just stated, when your children upset you or disobey you, you get upset about it because you want them to obey for the benefit of themselves, right? So when we did that to the Lord, he sent us to serve in a land that we know not. Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. Now let's figure out why that happened. Because if he, Deuteronomy 1:1 and then get Deuteronomy 28:15. Because we got to understand that if we discontinue from our heritage, we have to understand who we are according to this Bible. Because African American ain't in there. You're not going to find Haitian American in there. You're not going to find Mexican in there. You're not going to find Native American in there. But you are going to find Judah. You're going to find Benjamin. You're going to find Levi, Ephraim, Manasseh, Simeon. You're going to find the complete 12 tribes in there. But our purpose is to figure out who that is.
Yep.
The men up here in purple and gold, our families, our wives and children, they know who they are. They're coming back to their heritage. Read that. Now let's see who this fits. Because I'm going to read a couple things. And I want you to tell me who it fits. Read that.
Deuteronomy 1 and verse 1.
So this is the book of Deuteronomy, the first chapter and the first verse. Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
So who is he speaking to? Read it again. Listen.
All Israel.
He spoke it to who, Jocelyn? Who? Who?
Israel.
So he spoke these words to all Israel. Read.
On this side Jordan in the wilderness.
So this is the words that Moses spoke to all Israel in the wilderness. Go, give me Deuteronomy 28 verse 15. Read that. Check this out.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 15.
Come on.
But it shall come to pass,
Read.
if thou wilt not hearken.
What's hearken mean, Jocelyn? To listen. You're hearkening to the words of God right now.
Yep.
Read.
It shall come to pass,
Read.
if thou wilt not hearken
If we don't listen, read.
unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
Hey, what's up, big bro? We up here, I'm just up here showing my sister who she is according to the Bible. Read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
What are we supposed to do?
All his commandments.
Can you name me some commandments, Jocelyn? Well, you know, some of them, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, honor the Sabbath day, honor your father and mother, things like that. Those are the commandments. Now let me ask you, Jocelyn, do the majority of our people keep those? Right, because it's killing in the community, it's stealing in the community, it's adultery in the community, it's people dishonoring their fathers and mothers in the community, people breaking the Sabbath in the community, having idols in the community. All of these are breaking God's commandments. Read it, verse 15 again.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So if we don't listen, Jocelyn, unto the voice of the Lord our God, read.
To observe, to do all his commandments.
It don't say some, it says all. Big bro, you understand what we reading? It says all the commandments. Read.
And his statutes,
Come on.
which I command thee this day.
Come on.
That all these curses,
No, some curses.
all these curses,
All the curses that we're about to read will fall on us. Read.
shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
verse 68. Give me a few more minutes and I know. Okay, verse 68.
Verse 68.
Come on.
And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
So, we're in the book of Deuteronomy, right, Jocelyn? We read chapter 1 and verse 1. Now we're in chapter 28, right? We're in chapter 28. Did the people change from chapter 1 to chapter 28, or is it still talking to the same people? You think it changed to different people?
I don't know. Listen, to be honest, this is all kind of, I mean, I know some of it, but I married a man that was Islam, so I was studying out of the Quran, so a lot of this stuff is not, it don't ring the bell to me, honestly.
Okay, so how long was you studying the Quran?
From 2000, for a few years, it was kind of out of force. He was abusive. They found down here. I'm not from him, from
Okay, you know we got brothers up there that teach this.
Really?
Yes, ma'am. So let me show you something in the Bible about Islam. All right, because that is going into the worship of the Kaaba stone, right, which means black rock, right? The Kaaba means black. All right, that's what it's going into. That's a form of idolatry.
Yep.
All right, so this is what we're going to read out of the Bible. That thus saith the Lord. All right, read that, Jeremiah 3 and 2.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 2.
Come on.
Lift up thine eyes unto the high places.
So Jocelyn is telling you to look up. Look up into the high places and see where you've not been laid down with. Read.
And see what thou hast not been lying with.
Because we find ourselves in Islam, we find ourselves in Christianity, we find ourselves in Buddhism. Why? Hold that, go back to Deuteronomy 28 and 29. Because see, yeah, you said you was brought up in Islam, you was married to a man that practiced that, right? You still married to him?
Yes.
Okay, do you still practice Islam? Okay, so now it's time for you to understand who you are according to this Bible. Because this is the only thing that's going to stand.
Right.
Read that. Deuteronomy 28, 29. Yes, sir.
Deuteronomy 28 and verse 29.
Come on.
And thou shalt grope at noonday,
Read.
as the blind gropeth in darkness.
You know what that's going into? So like you said, you was married to a man that practiced Islam, right? Okay. We got plenty of people in this community that are married, or hell, excuse my language. We got plenty of people in this community who say they Christians, right, but don't follow Christ at all, right? So that's them associating themselves to something because they're groping at noonday, like the blind gropeth in darkness. Because if I didn't have any eyes and I couldn't see, I'ma just be feeling my way around to see how I can guide myself out. Even though I'm walking in a room that's pitch black, I don't know the way out unless I feel for it. So when you say that you married a man that practices Islam and you were following that, it's because you didn't understand who you are according to the Bible. Give me that, you can drop that, give me that in Isaiah 34 and 16. Because we have to understand that you have to seek out of the book of the Lord and read it to find out who you are, why you discontinue from your heritage, why are the curses upon us, why do we find ourselves as a people, as a race, in the lowest of lowest states. You understand? Because you're not going to find this stuff in the Bible. Even the Quran says to study the Bible. So if that's the case, this must be the true book.
That's right.
Read.
Isaiah 34 and verse 16.
Come on.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
You ever heard that saying where it says you want to hide anything from a nigga, put it in a book? So why would that be a proverb for us? Because that, if you look, we could actually pull that out of the Bible. That proverb, that wise saying, is biblical. It says, read that again.
Seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read.
Read.
No one of these shall fail.
None of the prophecies or curses that was prophesied that would happen to us would fail. Did we go into slavery on slave ships? Yes. Did we serve our enemies for the want of all things? Yes. Did we discontinue from our heritage? Yes. No one of these prophecies shall fail. What's up, big bro? Come on up here. Come
Tell
on.
them why it's important for them not to buy nothing. Real quick.
Come on up here and deal with us, bro. What's going on? What's your name?
T-Money.
T-Money. I'm David. Nice to meet you, bro. What's going on with you? I'm up here showing my sister who we are according to the Bible. If I can ask you, T-Money, what's your nationality?
Black.
Black. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, Jocelyn? Prime example. It's because he don't know. That's fine. His shirt is black, but the beautiful skin that's on his body is what color? It's brown.
Right.
So why is it ascribed to us to be black? Because they want to keep you in that mind state that white is right, black is down. You understand what I'm saying? White is the most beautiful thing, which is why they gave you this pink colored savior. T-Money, don't go nowhere, bro. We're gonna deal with it.
I just want to say this. If white people such the devil, and I don't be worried about a white person killing me. I be worried about a nigga trying to shoot me out
Right,
here.
but why? T-Money, deal with me, bro. Deal with me. Deal with me. The reason why you don't fit, the reason why you feel like that is because they brought you and your brother down to a lower state. That you forgot that the true enemy was the one that put you in this condition. It wasn't your brother that put you in this condition. It's the oppressor that put you in this condition. You understand what I'm saying, Jocelyn? Same way with the Arab man in this Islam religion. They did the same thing. Where is that? Where is that? The sub-Saharan slave trade. Right here.
Well, I'm saying.
Hold on, T-Money. Deal with me for a second. Yeah, help her out. So right here is this is what your husband followed. Islam, right? The sub-Saharan slave trade predates the transatlantic slave trade, which is what T-Money is referring to on how we got Mandingo fighting, right? Now it's him against his brother from another plantation, but they look exactly alike. That is a curse that will fall upon us, T-Money. You understand? If I put 2 ants in a jar, they not gonna battle it out. Now, if I shake the jar up and they don't know what caused the shaking, who they gonna fight?
You trying to
Hold on. Who they gonna fight?
Each other.
They gonna fight. Hold on. I don't want you to rush past your answer because you answering the question on why we're in the state we're in today. Who caused the fighting initially?
Willie Lynch and all this.
So if that's the case, right? If that's the case, you can't sit up here and look at your brother as the ops when the ops is the one that put you in the situation. This is what I want you to understand, bro. All of this that we see around us, that's the opposition right there. They look at this project as the zoo because they see you and your brother fighting each other, shooting each other down. You and your brother treating Jocelyn and our other sisters like whores. They get amusement out of that, bro. It's time for us to be the men that God called us to be. How can you change the state of your people if you continue to be the same? Because you think that Ray down the block got a beef with you and you toting your heat up on him. Why? It takes somebody to change to stop the ripple effect. Because if you keep doing it, he kill you, then guess what? Now we done lost 2 kings.
What is a nation? Nation is family.